All right, and we're live. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Project Management Learning Center. Today's topic for the Insight session, we're going to talk about the PMP exam prep from a graduate's perspective. And as you know, prior to students coming into our programs for the PMP exam prep, there are different levels of certification offered by the Project Management Institute. So some certifications could be the CAPM, the PMP, and then progressionally moving forward to the program management. And then the highest level certification offered by Project Management Institute is the portfolio management for the project management series. Today we have two of our graduate students with us from PMLC's Project Management PMP exam prep program. We welcome Ava and James here with us, and they're going to be sharing some of their insights from their experience with Project Management Learning Center. So welcome, guys. How are you today?
Hello, Dr. Susie. Doing well. Yourself?
Very well. How about you, Ava?
I'm doing very well. Thank you for the opportunity of, showing our experience and explaining people what we did and how we accomplished this. So, and hi, James, of course.
Very nice. Well, it's really great to have you guys back with us. I'm happy to see you on this side as certified professionals, along with myself and many others that are tuning into the program today. So we welcome you back. I'm just going to pause and have you guys to give a little bit of your background and anything else that you would feel comfortable sharing with the audience today before we dive into some of the questions that we have for you from some of the team members and other viewers that have sent these questions in to us. And then we'll also later on in the segment review some of the questions or comments that come in through our live stream as well. So let's go ahead and start with Ava. Ava, please tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. So my name is Eva. I've been a project manager for 10 years. I just recently got the certification back in February. I started with Dr. Susie. I think we started in June last year when we took the course. And then there you go. Now you are a PMP certified. So very, very happy about that. Obviously, I'm originally from Spain. I moved to the United States 11 years ago. My background is actually, I was a TV and radio reporter back then. So when I moved here, I have to start over and find another, way of, living here in the United States. And I came across project management, and this is what I'm doing until today. So I'm very happy about that.
Awesome. What an experience. And I just wanted to highlight what you shared with us, that you actually had 10 years of experience prior to taking the exam. And I just wanted to highlight that for many reasons for the viewers that are watching and for those that may be interested in learning about, how much prior experience do I need to have prior to sitting for the exam. And according to PMI, you need 3 years experience for sitting for the exam, right? But Ava, one of our gems, who was very well seasoned in the profession and demonstrated that all throughout the class with her questions, even as taking lead in some of the different areas with our study groups and things of that nature, has really shown, and we congratulate you again. So congratulations on passing your PMP.
Thank you. Thank you to you, obviously. I couldn't do it without you. Thank you very much.
Awesome. Thank you, Ava. All right, now let's hear from James. James, how are you?
Hi, doing well. I'm James Gigantis. Nice to meet everybody. I'm an IT project manager or Scrum lead with ADT. I've been working in project management for the past 9 years. I, of course, took the PMP certification course with Dr. Susie last year along with Ava. And here we are today certified. I've passed in March. Originally from New Jersey, I moved down to Miami about 15 years ago and never left, and loving IT project management. So this is great.
Awesome, James. Welcome. Thank you so much. And as you guys can hear from James as well, plenty of experience. And one of the cool things that I really like about James and I that we share in common is that Scrum Master role. So I was sharing with the group recently, back in, I think it was May of 23, where I received my CSM certification as well. So I was kind of happy when James onboarded in the class. I was like, so do I. And it was really happy to connect on that level from the IT perspective with him. So we are very excited for you as well, James, on passing your PMP. And congratulations again to you both. And thank you for taking time out of your day to share with us as we look into some of the student perspectives of things that you experienced while going through the program. So Ava, can you start by sharing with us for the PMP exam course itself, how did you actually go through and prepare for the PMP exam after taking the course with us? What were some of the things that you did?
Well, one of the things that I did, I gotta say, if we talk about, usually strategies on how we do things, my best strategy for me is follow your own pace. That was for me. I know you and I talk about this. When are you gonna sit for the exam? I said, I just wanna follow my pace. I know when I'll be ready. I didn't wanna rush things. So for me, that was for sure one of the things that worked the best for me. And obviously, I know there is a lot of information that we have to digest even after the course. The course is very good, obviously. It gives you the structure of how you can prepare for the exam, but then you still have to do all the work, no? So I digested everything that I could. I read the pen book, like twice already. All the Agile also guide. I read that. I took every course that I could take. Also, after I took the PMLC course in terms of following things on YouTube and things like that. So that was very helpful as well. And then one of the things that actually worked for me is just to understand, the terms, understand the questions. And the best advice that I could give probably to someone would be just let go of everything that you think you know. So because with when you prep for the PMP exam, even though you have the experience prior to that, it counts obviously because you have the experience, but then PMP has a different mindset. And that for me, letting go of those ideas, it helped me very much so to understand the questions and to be able to answer them correctly.
Excellent. And some study strategies from my end, very similar to what Ava shared. One thing that Dr. Susie really suggested, and it helped me quite a lot, was reading the question first, then the scenario, then the answers. It really helped me try to understand, because a project manager is sort of a traffic director in some ways. It helped me understand the perspective that I was trying to answer
Share with
the
us a
question.
little bit about how you prepared for the PMP exam as well, James.
Absolutely. So one thing that really helped me was there's a practice exam that's located on the PMP website. So I really like to read through the questions there. And as I was mentioning earlier, reading through the question first, then the scenario, then the answers, it really helped me understand what I'm trying to answer, what I'm trying to get from the scenario, and where I should direct my answers attention to. There's quite a lot there that kind of trips you up from time to time.
Yeah, and just to
Yeah,
add to that also, some of the questions can be lengthy. So also just focus, remove all the meat that doesn't apply to your answer. Just maybe read the last part of the question and then go back, after you read your answers. And that helps also a lot just to practice things in a better way.
yeah. And I know throughout the class you guys probably got tired of me saying, like, read the question, read the answer.
It
Yeah,
Take your
helps.
time,
it
read the
helps. Yes.
scenario, read the question, and then what the best choice answer. Find your keywords and find the best choice answer. And I think some students actually came back and said, that actually worked. And then I heard one student say, when I was taking my exam, that's exactly what just kept echoing in my ear. I heard you saying, read the question, read the answer, and find your keywords. I think that is one of the most critical things that you can absolutely do. Thank you guys for sharing that. Let's hop over here and check in our chat and see if we have any questions from our live audience as well. So I do see the viewers coming on in. So if you wouldn't mind dropping to the chat and tell us where you're from, exactly where you're viewing us from, and then we will be happy to give you a shout out throughout the broadcast as we go. So again, we have Ava and James here with us. They're giving us their insights on the PMP exam. After certification, they've actually passed, so we're congratulating them. And then hearing some of the insights as far as what it is that they would like to share with us along the way. So for our next question, what study strategies did you find most effective? Which study strategies did you guys find most effective?
You want to go first, James?
I think he's talking on mute.
It's similar to what I mentioned earlier, utilizing the PMP's practice exam. It really
Mm-hmm.
helped me just because I had so many extra questions to sort through. Also, another recommendation from Dr. Susie, trying to answer the question within a minute and 30 seconds or so.
Oh,
I found myself during the test, looking down at my watch and saying to myself, "Oh boy, I don't have a lot of time left." It was good time management recommendation.
thank
Yeah.
you very much. Yeah.
And
And Ava?
I would say also, Dr. Susie, you mentioned also several times when we were taking the course, this is not about the pen book, this is about the ECO. So following the structure of the ECO also it helps you, to disseminate what you actually have to be paying attention to. So that was a practice for me that really helped me focus on what I was needed to focus. And also doing, when we were doing the study groups, that was also very helpful for us, or at least for me, because we were actually practicing to James' point earlier with the PMP exam, that we have the sample in the PMP website. So thank you for sharing with us, James. That was very, very helpful because at the end of the day, it's giving you a realistic exam questions, and I think that was a game changer for a lot of people because it helps you reinforce what you learn, but also familiarize yourself with the exam format and timing. And one thing that I would say also, because at the end of the day, it's not just passing the exam. Probably, that's it's in everyone's mind to pass the exam. But I mean, for me, what was important as well was every question that I wasn't getting right, just reviewing and analyzing those questions, both correct and incorrect. So also that helped me reinforce, what the key concepts were, and also identified what I needed to study further, in different areas. So those are two strategies that for me helped me a lot when I was preparing for the exam.
That's really great. And then in addition to that, I just want to add and maybe ask both of you guys. So like what type of test strategy did you take with you when you went to go sit for the exam also? So there's the strategy of how you study, and then finding those effective methods that we actually use either in class or in study group. Especially for me, what I found the most fun, of course, were the lightning round sessions of you only have a minute and 27 seconds. After that, we're moving on to the next question, be it right or wrong. But then actually taking time to really think through what your strategy was going to be on test day. Can you share some of that insight with us, please? Let's go ahead and start with Ava for that.
Yep, absolutely. So I wanted to take advantage of the breaks. So my strategy was approaching the questions at 60 questions at a time. So I didn't want to overwhelm myself. Oh, I have to answer 180. And I realized during the day of the exam that I was actually doing the questions at 1 minute per question instead of 130 or 115, 16 seconds per question. So I'm putting a lot of pressure on myself, but still, I think it worked. And actually, I finished the exam, and I think I have like 47 or 50, 40 or 50 minutes to spare. So I mean, I get the strategy helped very much, but I think that one was for me the one that works the best.
Awesome. And how about for you, James?
So my strategy kind of started the day before. I wanted to drive by the testing location just because I sometimes get a little nervous the day of. So
Okay.
I stopped by and made sure that I knew exactly where the testing center was and where I was expecting to sit, just because in the past I've taken a couple certifications and found myself kind of lost. So that was
Now
step one.
yes, that's the first that I've heard of that, but that's also fairly interesting, especially living down here in Florida with the traffic, and then not knowing, certain addresses being certain numbers, but then being a street, but then also being a terrace. So that is a really, really good strategy right there. Taking time to ease some of the nervousness and finding your way there the day prior to the testing center so that you're familiar with where to go. Now that is a really good one. So thank you for sharing that one, James. I just want to hop over to our comments and welcome those that are in and viewing from Ghana. So welcome, you guys. Thank you for joining us. We see we have Michigan and Missouri, as well as on our Facebook page. We have some people in from, it looks like Detroit. So welcome, Detroit. Hey, Daytona. Hi, Cleveland. Welcome, you guys. Thank you for joining us on today. So again, we have James and Ava with us, and we're talking about the PMP exam prep from a graduate perspective, and we're just so excited for them and really sending as many congratulations as possible, celebrating them for passing their PMP exam. So when we think about the work-life balance, right? We know that we're studying for this exam. We still have to go to work. We still have other obligations and priorities and things that we need to balance, especially with that time management. How did you guys feel about your work-life balance process throughout this entire course, as well as the process in preparation for the exam? Either one of you can go first on that one.
Ava, feel free.
Well, thank you, James, for that. I gotta say that I live and breathe the PMP, and I still be able to balance my time with work. Fortunately for me, I'm an early bird, so I stretch my time a little bit longer by dedicating probably between 1 and 2 hours before work and 2 hours after work. The same way over the weekends, and I also decided to increase the hours as the exam approached. Actually, I took 3 weeks time off in December just to focus on the exam. But I mean, the best thing for me is always working out. That really helps me very much. So it's something that for me is sacred. And it still is. I mean, it is, and it was, and it still is. And for sure, is the best way for me to keep myself in check. I would say though that I was fine whether I had the balance or not. And what I mean by that is that I accepted it because I understood that I was putting an effort that was needed, and I was fine with that. So, but at the end of the day, it's about what works for each person and being realistic with your commitments.
For me, the time required for the class and work was completely manageable. And also after the point of taking the class and attending the study group, 2 days a week, 1 hour sessions is completely manageable. We were meeting on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Just put that time in. Try to put some extra time in, maybe on the weekend, late on Sunday. Try to get through some extra test questions. I think that we spent a lot of time preparing for the test, but I think it paid off. In the end, we did get certified, and whether I spent less time or more time, I think it's besides the point. I'm very happy with the time that we spent.
Yeah, and I think as far as the timing perspective, it's going to vary from student to student, right? So what I try to tell students is like, don't try to model yourself after another student, or even hindsight, right? Compare yourself to another student, because it's your personal journey, right? We don't know the things that you have going on in life behind the scenes, but obviously, if you have a plate load of life events, work events, obligations outside of both of those, and you're trying to juggle and balance, then the best thing for you to do is kind of fit it in along the way until you find that sweet spot where you're actually comfortable. And then you're saying, okay, I feel pretty confident. Now it's the time for me. This is my right time for me to go. We've had students come through, and as I said before, 2 weeks after, the exam, they're off to sit for, 2 weeks after the course, they're off to sit for the exam, right? But we had students that come in, and maybe some had sat for the exam 6 to 9 months after. So it all depends on the comfort level and the confidence of each individual student. So when we hear about different programs that are out there, even ones that say, we can get you through in 8 weeks or 2 weeks or 6 weeks, those may be for the more aggressive students that are ready to go and continue to move forward. In our program, we kind of walk through the situation with you, so that we're on that journey together. So if you say, hey, I want to attend study group, oops, I need to take a break, life is getting in the way, of course, we're going to reach out to you, call you, see what's going on in your life, and then welcome you back to study group, and always be here for you while you continue through that journey. But at the same time, we do have students that come and they're just like, nope, this is it. I'm focused. Let's just go. I don't have anything else kind of holding me back. I'm ready. And then between 2 to 4 weeks, they're taking the exam. Now, if they pass or not, that's based on their study strategies, the things that they actually, implement into their strategies for taking the exam itself. But for you guys, I'm really happy to hear your journey and how it worked out so well for you. So again, congratulations. And let's go ahead and move on to our next question that we're going to take a look at. And that is sharing specific examples with us for how those course materials actually helped you to apply project management concepts in your professional role. So now we're kind of switching gears a little bit, and we're looking at, hey, I'm in this course, and we all know during the course we learn new things and new concepts and new tools and new tricks, right? that we want to go back and immediately implement into our place of work, especially if we're in that project management role or contributing as a project participant or a team member, right? So once we get back, now we're looking at, oh, hey, I learned this new thing in class. Maybe we should try to implement this tool or try this technique that I just used. So did you guys find yourselves doing anything like that when you got back to your place of work? How about you, James?
Certainly, certainly. So we had a number of senior devs that were on the team, and we had a few junior devs joining the team. And there was some complicated work that was in place, and we were so reliant on some of those senior devs. So what I ended up doing was having the junior devs sit with the seniors and train them up and create some documentation that lasted a couple of generations of developers, so that we're not so reliant on some of the senior devs, and so that they're not completely overloaded, and we could load them up on the junior devs as well, some of the work items. So that was something that was brought up during the certification. I was quite happy with that. Also, another item is procurement. I had very little exposure to the process behind procurement and evaluation of vendors, and just bringing it up as a topic in the certification was very helpful for me.
Awesome. And for you, Ava, what did you find to be most helpful?
I agree with James with the procurement. That was always, I mean, I did have some experience, but not to the level that I might have now, and that really helped, with understanding, a lot of the things that I'm doing. That I have to vet vendors and things like that. So that was super helpful. But I would say two things for me that I'm actually helping me apply. I would say one of them is motivation. When you are studying for this exam, you actually have to motivate yourself, to keep going. You see, especially when the day of the exam is approaching, and you're still like, oh, come on, I gotta go. It's almost there. So, in the industry that I am at for project management, it can be sometimes a little bit draining in terms of, we have super hard deadlines, a lot of, client changing minds, things like that. So we have to adjust quickly, and that's something you have to be aware of when you're working with a team, because you have to be the one, the stewardship, that we talk all the time, that you have to be the one for them, be there and help them, to keep the motivation going and celebrate the success. That's one of them. And the other one, I think, is the team communication. Obviously, when we talk about communication, I mean, 90% of what we do, I would say, as project managers, is communication, right? So the other 10% automation. Let's just do the tools, do what they need to do, but then let's just focus on what we need to focus. So I think in my case that I do work with a cross-functional team environment, I did actually leverage some project management methodologies, stakeholder analysis, communications plans to facilitate those effective collaboration and information dissemination. And also one thing that I found really, really, really helpful, especially with projects that go on, it's an annual project, things like that. We kept, we had a daily stand-up, and those regular status meetings and progress reports, I think they were instrumental also in keeping all the team members aligned and informed throughout the project lifecycle.
Awesome. We do have, I was checking the comments while you guys were dialoguing here. And James, we do have one question specifically for you coming from the IT perspective, based on what we just discussed about taking some of these examples from the course and, implementing them on the job. And one of the questions is from the IT perspective again, in terms of how did you find yourself applying some of the agile principles from the course into your IT workspace?
Right. So my organization, ADT, is actually a hybrid organization. So working with other teams that may be working in more of a traditional process and trying to align with them was very helpful. So they weren't very aware of the agile practice that my team was working through or with. I found that I provided some coaching advice on how they could provide context to us on projects that they need our support with earlier on, and we could plan that out into the future. So there was just alignment and coordination that I could add to the process, recognizing the fact that they may have already planned everything out and assumed that we knew about it, but we didn't. So there was opportunities there.
And another question coming in from our audience for you, James, again. James is hot on the block today. So Did you find a lot of agile concepts and principles throughout your exam while sitting for the PMP exam, as opposed to the other methods that were more of the traditional or waterfall?
I want to just say to start, the exam itself, you really have to recognize where the question is asking, what perspective you're supposed to answer the question from, right? So as the PM, you could find yourselves as a Scrum lead on a team, or you could find yourselves as just a general PM on a team. There's many different perspectives. So in the exam itself, and it's really a wide variety, right? And they have a very deep question bank. So I would say 30%, if you have exposure on the agile side, it would certainly help you. It could be even more than that, but you'll get questions from across the board for sure.
Awesome. Thank you, James. Ava, I was just perusing this question for you. This question is coming in and saying, in terms of work-life balance, it seems like that you have a pretty full plate on your hands. How did you find yourself best working across different time zones? That's fairly interesting.
Working different time zones. That didn't really affect me. I mean, there was only 1 hour difference between us, so it wasn't that much. I was gonna put the time regardless after work, just to even though we didn't have any the course or the study group, I was gonna put the time regardless. So it wasn't that much of a challenge for me. But I would say, every time that you had an opportunity to do something, to study, like for example, if I'm riding the bike, I'm also having, something that I'm listening to, questions that I have to answer, tutorials, whatever it is. There is always an opportunity. You're drinking your coffee. I don't drink coffee, but whoever does, I mean, you always have an opportunity to immerse yourself, and you are learning by osmosis. I mean, somehow, because when you hear all the time the same question, the same and the same information, somehow it just gets into you, right?
Yeah.
So, but in terms of that, the work-life balance, I would say, I mean, it didn't affect me much, as I said, because I was going to put the time regardless.
I absolutely agree. It's all about going after what it is that your heart truly desires and the goal that you have set in front of you and what you're trying to accomplish or achieve at this juncture in your life. I totally agree with that. So then what feedback do you guys have regarding the instructor's teaching methods and the overall course structure? I think both of you took the course with me and not any of the other instructors, but we do have other instructors that do teach the PMP exam prep course at Project Management Learning Center as well. So if you want to share your thoughts around that, the instructor's teaching methods and the overall course structure. And we can start with you, James.
Again, as mentioned earlier, thank you so much for the recommendation of reading the question first, then the scenario, then the answers. Susie's absolutely excellent. She prepared us for the test. She especially just highlighting even the other recommendation that I mentioned earlier, focusing on the perspective that you're trying to answer the question from and understand the scenario. Because, the answers will try to trip you up a little bit, right? So you need to understand what question they're asking you from, and also from which perspective. So Susie did a terrific job.
Understanding those domains and then how they align back with the ECO is tremendously important. And how about for you, Ava? How was it for you?
Well, I gotta say, Dr. Susie, if I may share this, you and I started, talking about this PMP exam even prior to taking the course. So
yes.
She really coached me very much so, at least for 3-4 months, I would say.
And I think so.
Yeah, I think so. And then we just went into the exam, into the course, and then everything was wonderful. One of the things that I would say that I liked the most was that Dr. Susie, she didn't make it about passing the exam. Obviously, that's the end goal. But what it was truly important for her was that we were able to understand the material. I think she has a really strong knowledge and expertise in what the project management concepts are, and she helped us, to keep us engaged. And she was constantly encouraging our participation. In terms of the course material, I would say that it was comprehensive and relevant, and was covered in the ECO, which at the end of the day is what we need to focus on. So very well organized, the course structure. I felt supported, receiving full feedback all the time, and the exam preparation resources were ample. And the thing that I liked the most was, we were all sharing, because we were all sharing the same experience. We all want to get the same result. But that fact, that we were able to do that as a team, I think that was really, really fantastic for me. So overall, the learning experience, I think, was positive, and it was maximizing that learning experience for me.
Well, thank you very much, guys. So as we're coming to a close, we said that this segment would be nice, short, and sweet, which it really is, and very powerful and impactful at the same time. I'm just going to ask if you guys have any final thoughts that you would like to share with our viewers out here, LinkedIn, Facebook, as well as YouTube, and just any final thoughts that you guys have that you would like to pass along to them. We really enjoyed this powerful session with you guys today and sharing your insights as it relates to taking the exam, preparing for the exam, driving to the testing center to see exactly where you'll be to ease some of that nervousness and frustration, even with traffic. That was a cool one. Didn't really think or give any thought or consideration to that, or even think, to make it a suggestion. So that was awesome and brilliant, James. And then really looking at the work-life balance in terms of like what it takes, understanding that it doesn't matter what time zone you're in or operating within for the person that's actually instructing or guiding you through the course materials, but it's all about the time management of the individual and making sure that we each understand that this is our own personal journey as we go through not just the PMP certification program, but any certification program that's out there that's going to help to continue to elevate us and make us A1 in our game, especially in the realm of project management. So in closing, I'm just going to keep James first and just see if there are any final thoughts that you have that you would like to leave with our viewers, and for those that are preparing for or anticipating or aspiring to become a certified project management professional.
Go for it. Lead with your best foot forward. Put forth the hours that you need for the class and also for all the study that occurs afterwards. Don't be nervous. Take the test. Follow through.
All right. And for you, Ava, final thoughts?
I would say the same. Go for it. Make sure that you are ready to put in the work. I would say this is like training for a marathon. There will be some tough moments, but crossing that finish line, it actually feels amazing. So I would say just stay committed, stay organized. Don't be afraid to ask questions along the way. At the end of the day, this is about the journey that you're going to become a certified project management. So just go for it.
Awesome. Well, I want to thank you guys again for coming out and being with us today here at Project Management Learning Center. Congratulations again to you both. Yay, on passing your PMP. Welcome to the world of certification on our behalf of PMLC and from PMI Institute. And congratulations again on your certification. So we really appreciate you guys taking time to share your insights with us, your journey. And we're very excited and happy for you for things that are to come. Thank you, guys.
Thank you very much.
Dr. Susie. Thank you, Eva.
Thank you.
All right. Well, as you've heard it from James and Ava, we are so happy for them as they have passed their PMP exam and are now certified professionals. For next steps, sometimes people wonder, hey, what is the next step for me after the PMP? So again, let me just hop back up here really quickly to show you some certification paths of progression as you continue to go. So from the PMI perspective, a few paths of progression through the project management world, according to Project Management Institute, is you can start off at the CAPM level, which is the Certified Associate, and then move to the PMP, and then to the Program Management or Portfolio Management level. And then sometimes people wonder, okay, well, I've reached the highest in, terms of the project management certifications from PMI's Institute. Well, I also want to inform that there's also the PMO Global certification levels that you can also consider for after that. So what would be my next step after? Well, as we know, PMOs are very critical in organizations to help them to drive their strategic goals and objectives forward through that of project management. So as we look at, what are my next steps? We have certifications that are offered by the PMO Global Institute as well. And the certified associate in PMO could be your next level. Now, it all depends on exactly how much experience you have. So if you are just starting out in project management, you don't necessarily have to be quote unquote certified as a PMP for the CAPMO certification. However, it would be nice to have some project management experience or a PMO experience in order to receive that type of certification. But if you have a bachelor's degree, and then you're interested in learning more about CAPMO, then the CAPMO course will actually give you the foundation of what it is that you can expect as it relates to the project management, setting up a project management office, understanding the operations of a project management office, and then next steps that'll actually guide you in your career within the project management office. The next level certification is called the CBPMO, and that will be for those of leaders in the organization that are interested in becoming certified, be it if they're already PMP certified. Here, the requirement is that you must have 5 or more years of experience in project management. So 9 times out of 10 people that go for this type of certification, they do have a PMP, they may have a program management or even a portfolio management certification. Out of those certifications, they're looking for like, what's my next? So your next would actually be the CBPMO certification as it relates to being certified from the PMO perspective, and that's the project management office perspective. So this is more looking at the establishment of the roadmap, understanding the CBPMO framework, and that's looking at the foundational layer, the technology layer, the leadership layer, according to the CBPMO framework. And then lastly, but not least, we have the Certified Agile PMO Consultant. That is the highest level certification for the PMO as it deals with all things agile, right? It also talks about the certification from the perspective of understanding how the PMO's iterations work. What are some of the releases, the life cycle as it relates to the Agile PMO world, understanding when to do certain releases, how to frame up user stories and story boarding, story mapping from that perspective at a high level, looking at the organization's strategic goals and objectives as well. So if you're interested in learning more about these certifications, you can visit our website at www.pmlearningcenter.com, or you can always reach out to us via LinkedIn at Project Management Learning Center or via LinkedIn at Project Management Learning Center Consulting Group, PMLC Consulting Group. And one of our team members will be more than happy to get back with you to walk you through our CA, CBPMO, or Agile PMO certifications. Today we had an amazing time here with James and Ava, welcoming them to the stage to give us their insights again on the project management certification exam. And we are so